Buenas noches, Valencia, and welcome to all our viewers on Twitch and Swedish TV. After 2 crazy days full of amazing games and upsets, we have finally reached the grand finals. Of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors, Azo, HyperX, Razer, and Monster Energy. It's because of them that we've been able to witness so many spectacular games of StarCraft 2 this weekend, so a huge thank you to them. Now, after starting day 1 with 96 players, this is it. We are at the top 2 players, the grand finals. They will be fighting for $10,000, 750 WCS points, and the coveted title of Dreamhack Open Valencia champion. Without further ado, let's introduce our first finalist. This Korean Zurich made his first international tournament appearance this weekend here at Dreamhack Open Valencia. He has never won a major title, and he is 1 best of 5 away from realizing his dream on becoming a StarCraft 2 champion. Welcome, My Insanity Saxry! Now, before we welcome our second finalist to the stage, I know this is your first time ever at a finals. All these fans are now fans of yours, I'm sure, after witnessing your incredible play all weekend. What do you have to say to Spain and your fans?
I love Spain.
Now for our second finalist. This Korean Pro Toss player, fondly nicknamed the Boss Toss, has 6 premier titles under his belt, as well as countless other top finishes around the globe. He is looking to add a Dreamhack Open title under his belt for the first time this weekend. Give it up for MC! Now, MC, you stated earlier that as a veteran player, you don't want a no-name to win this tournament. What warning do you have to give to Saxry before this match?
Just good luck and have fun.
Seems the Boss Toss is feeling mannered today. Now, Saxry, I'm not sure if you're aware, but earlier in an interview, MC stated that as a veteran player, he didn't want someone that isn't as known as yourself to win this tournament. Now he's trying to block you from winning your first title. What do you have to say back to him?
아까 전에 인터뷰했을 때 장민철 선수가 삭스리 선수처럼 이름 없는 선수가 우승하면 안 된다고 얘기했어요. 이제 우승하는 걸 막기 여기까지 왔는데 장민철 선수한테 한마디만 해주세요.
일단 장민철 선수가 올라와줘서 고맙고 오늘부터 제 이름을 모두에게 알리는 자리가 됐으면 좋겠어요.
He says, first of all, MC, thank you for making it to the finals. I'm gonna make sure this finals on this stage, everyone knows my name. Players, please shake hands. It is time for our grand finals to start. Tasteless, take it away.
Not tasteless, it is I in control. I'll be your panel host for the finals. Tasteless. What is the tables have turned?
The tables have turned, man.
The table has remained the same. Our positions around the table may have turned a little bit.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Smix, interesting interview. MC kind of tapering off on the BM there on that stage. Do you think it's because of the muscular definition of Saxry and the overall just alphaness of him?
To be totally honest, I think it's that MC is so used to being at this phase of tournaments that I don't even think he's that concerned or interested in really intimidating his opponent or even feeling the need to do that. I mean, talk about two guys, both very talented, but from two completely different, tournament histories here.
I think he's really focused right now, and he's, earlier on, maybe he's having a little bit more fun. He's, he's joking around. He's kind of playing up the crowd a little bit. But right now, he's been sitting there for about an hour and a half since that last match, really focusing, getting himself in the zone, going over his strategies. And I think he's just too focused to be, the lovable bad manner MC that we see other times.
Todd, do these jobbers have it right, or is there something else going on?
I think so. First of all, I wonder if Saxry was talking about you when he said people here are going to remember my name, because you've been having a hard time getting it right, first of all.
I'm part of the problem. I agree.
But remember Bucharest, actually. Impact made it to the finals. He was the Cinderella story, and then it was a rude awakening for his life. Life just said, no, you're just not going to win the tournament. I get this feeling that the same thing could happen here with this MC for Saxry.
Well, let me pose this question to you guys, because both these players, as Smix pointed out, are not Dreamhack champions. In fact, Saxry does not have a major title at all. MC's got a bunch. He's been near the top of Dreamhacks, but never a champion. So which of these two needs this more, and who's more hungry? Tasteless.
I would say they're probably equally hungry, but experience is so key here. I mean, you look at MC here. This looks so routine for him. I've lost track of how many times I've personally casted MC in front of a giant audience.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you got to think for Saxuri, this is a very different experience than his journey to get here in this tournament. I mean, the player area here at Dreamhack, obviously it's packed down here, but a much more private experience than being on stage, even having to do the interviews ahead of time. I mean, just seeing all these people around you cheering for you, us up here speculating, can he make it? Because MC's so good. I don't know. I just keep feeling MC here. I hope I'm proven wrong here. I think that'd be a great twist here. But right now, even when we see MC in the booth, I'm thinking, it looks like another day at work for MC.
It is. I mean, he is the boss toss. This guy has won by far the most money in StarCraft 2. He's nearing $500,000 prize money in StarCraft 2. It's absolute insanity. For him to win this extra money, I mean, he won't even really feel it compared to Saxry, right? Like, he's loaded. The guy wins tournaments all the time, but that doesn't mean he's not hungry. MC loves to win.
How rare is it to ever have anybody showing up to lands and winning like MC is when you get this deep in a major tournament like Dreamhack and you're in the finals. It's a big deal for your career, for your life in general, and I think by now, I feel there's probably a lot more pressure. It'll really come down to how does Saxeri actually manage stress or pressure in this situation.
Okay, and Todd with the non-bland answer.
You want me to predict the winner? I'm going to go for MC.
That seems to be the safe answer.
Seems to be.
Okay. I actually didn't hear what Milton said in my ear at all, so.
We're actually ready to go in this game, so.
Go into the game. The game's ready. The finals are set up and ready to go. Is that what you're telling me?
Someone is about to become a legend.
Gentlemen, ladies, and everybody else, thank you for tuning in to Dreamhack Open Valencia 2014. We are in the grand finals, the Protoss versus Zerg, to determine your champion. Our casters for the finals, you know them well. It is Tastosis. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. In control.
We are finally here in the finals of Dreamhack Valencia. Introducing our player here in the south. Make some noise for Saxeri! And his opponent over here in the upper right. Easily one of the best Protosses, no, not even that, easily one of the best StarCraft 2 players of all time here yet again in the finals. Make some noise for MC.
This has been a pretty amazing event, Tasteless. We've
has.
had a lot of great storylines, a lot of upsets, and a lot of Dreamhack champions and big-time winners towards the end of this tournament. But, I mean, MC, he is the ultimate, right? This is the guy to beat. So if Saxeri can take this that is gigantic for his career and his future, but it's really hard to take MC down when he's in a finals.
Yeah, it seems like he actually plays at his very, very best in the finals, you know. So let's see what Saxry can actually come up with. We are on the map merry-go-round. So far, both players open it up with very standard conservative routes. They're clearly saying, at least for the beginning of this best of 5, I want to go into the mid-game, into the late game in proper economic position.
You know, I like how both of them have opened. MC was looking to see maybe I could do a cannon rush. If you're being a little bit greedy, Saxry, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to try to be a little bit greedy because I'm the boss toss and I'm so good and you need a little edge. But Saxry goes ahead and he opens up very safely with that pull first. So, you know, both players kind of being respectful towards the other.
At least it's beginning that way. I'm curious to see as these games go on if we are going to see these guys trying to pull some fast ones on each other. MC's play here, we were talking about this backstage. He just wins every battle.
Yeah.
Every engagement is in his favor by a considerable amount. So I'm curious to see how does Saxry play this. I think this is not a map where it's particularly tough for Protoss to push the Zerg.
Well, yeah, you know, MC is probably going to do a timing attack here, whether it's 2 base or 3 base, because it is kind of a hard map to hold on to that third, but MC knows how to hold thirds like this. So I'm a little bit nervous for Saxry, even though I would normally give this a Zerg edge. It's just MC, as you said, Tasis, he wins every battle.
Yeah.
What do? Do you attack him so he defensively wins a battle, or do you wait for him to attack you so he wins the offensive battle and kills you?
And at this point in time, I mean, it's such a safe bet to say that MC will always do well in any finals he's in. I'm trying to think of a finals I've casted over the past years where it's MC there and he loses. Can you think of
against Seed in the GSL finals one time?
Oh, that's right, back in Busan. That was a while back.
That was a while back.
Almost a year and like 9 months ago or something like that.
At least I think it was more than that.
Really? Okay, so
But
maybe even over 2 years.
If he gets
so
to
it's
the
been a
finals,
while.
that's the last one I remember at least. I mean, this guy, if he gets to the finals, he's probably going to win it.
Well, let's see if Saxry is the guy to change that little pattern there. We do have our Zerg player droning up, and the Protoss actually halfway finished with the Stargate. Now, we've seen a lot of Oracle play down here at Dreamhack. That's been very popular. Doesn't necessarily mean that MC is going to do it this time. He's been very good with Phoenixes. You know, because he's been around for so long, he's really had the chance on the big stage to play every invented style of Protoss that there is. So,
well, most of which he invented.
This is true. This is true. But he's pulled it all off with class here, and he is going to go for the Oracle build. Okay. Now, I would be surprised if Saxry has loses a lot of drones during this. He's had pretty solid defense throughout most of this tournament.
That is true, but let's not forget that Stardust got a lot of drones with his Oracle.
That's true.
Or Oracles. But
that's true.
Will MC do something like make 2 Oracles? I kind of doubt it. It's very standard to just make 1 and get the harassment done you can.
You know, Stardust and MC really are 2 very different breeds of Protoss. I mean, obviously one's seeing more success than the other one, but Stardust has really been doing very well everywhere he's been at lately. So, also you got to keep in mind, MC's been around for so long, it's definitely somebody you could have studied his style and his mindset.
Oh, no doubt about that. Well, we do have the Oracle coming in, killing 1 drone off so far. Just getting anything he can. Doesn't want to take too much damage on it right now, and since there are some spores up, he's not going to do too much damage either.
So from here on out, he can just use the Oracle to spot. He could, for instance, try to get that stray drone being transferred. But overall, he's going to use this as a spotter and for defensive measures. Excuse me. So here comes the probe making the Nexus now. And he'll get that gateway walling up over there. As you were saying earlier, Artosis, MC's usually not the guy to lose his third base.
No, generally not. He's very good at defending it. And in fact, you know, he has the Oracle. There are a lot of Lings in production, and he's going for Hydras as well, so we definitely could see one of these very fast attacks on that third base and the natural ramp. And MC doesn't really have a lot of units right now. So I'm a little bit nervous for him, but from what we've seen of MC in the past, probably going to be able to hold on.
Well, the Protosses nowadays, they are liking to get that Twilight Council right away, get a lot of Stalkers with Blink, which I think is pretty smart because initially it was always going for the Colossi, but getting a lot of Stalkers with Blink means that if the Zerg is rushing here, especially with Hydras, which are not going to be fast, especially not on creep, you can win the counterattack, chase them all the way back, sometimes even taking out their third.
Well, 6 gateways on the way, going up to 7 so that he can get plenty of stalkers out. Getting a lot of sentries right now, too, to build up some energy. And we do have Hydras coming, Tasteless, with that range upgrade. So he's going to be coming up and trying to get some damage on. We're going to have to see, does MC have his standard force fields?
Okay, he got a quick glimpse of that just before they got there with the Oracle. He's got to get into the right position here. Looks like they're going to try to go to the ramp. No, he does chase him up the bottleneck of the ramp. Now the third a bit more exposed than it should be. The sentry's not in the right positions here to make the right force fields to keep that third safe. I think he wants to force out some force fields here to trap the tier 1 units behind the second base. And from here, he might do a runaround.
Oh, wow.
I actually am really surprised
up.
he did that. But he is getting in there. He's doing a lot of damage to those sentries.
That was an extremely aggressive move there by Saxry, trying to get up there. Still a lot of sentries left alive.
Oh, my God!
Oh, and he gets that +1 upgrade right before it finishes. Some nice force fields from MC, and still Saxry's trying to break this ramp.
That is a huge help there for Saxry. Now, with the force fields trapping the Protoss army in, the third is still exposed here, and he will easily get the Nexus snipe and probably exit through the left side over here, trying to avoid the Stalkers as much as he I guess he's not going to go for this. He's actually confident enough, probably with that +1 attack upgrade not finishing, to try to charge forward here and hit these Stalkers. But remember, the Nexus is still alive. So if MC survives this attack, the third base does remain.
This is a really tough situation. He's killed off an upgrade. He's killed off all of the sentries. He forced that mothership core to use its Nexus cannon in the natural, and he's going back over here to try to kill off this Nexus once again. Saxry is putting on some awesome pressure.
Oh my God, MC saves the third.
Of course he does. He's MC.
I'm so impressed. You really got to wonder, is Saxry going to go back and look at this game and think, damn it, I started this off the wrong way. A nice blink on top here, taking out a lot of these Hydras. But did he overextend here? You see there were a lot of Lings down there as well. The Stalkers blink back again, and it looks like things have balanced out a little bit here as far as map control goes.
That's right. You know what? He chases down what is left over, but he's stuck in this position where he's mostly just on Blink Stalkers. He doesn't have a lot of sentries right now. In fact, he only has 1 sentry, a Mothership Core, and a ton of Blink Stalkers. So while that's still pretty strong and very microable and something MC can work with, our Zerg player is about to finish his hive. He has Hydras, he has Lings, he has Roaches. He has a big variety of units he can use.
You know, out of all the attack upgrades in the game, that Protoss attack early on against Zerg, one of the most impactful upgrades in the entire game.
Oh, absolutely.
And so for MC to lose that, and I doubt that's something that happens often in practice.
No, it finishes so early. It's almost impossible.
This could be one of the games where we actually see MC in engagements where he just doesn't win, especially in the end game, because Zerg is going to have that lead and try to keep that lead.
Yeah, and you know what? We have +2 attack on the way for Saxry. He's going to have his Roach speed. He already has Hydra speed and range upgrades, and now he has 2 Vipers. Blinding Clouds are going to be absolutely magnificent against just a pure Stalker army.
I really like the timing there from Saxry early on and back at that third, and I like the way that he engaged. So I don't know about you, but I was a little bit caught off guard when I saw the 3 force fields go up, and then he continued to run up there, up the ramp with the Lings and do that damage, but it certainly worked out.
Very surprising.
I think most Zergs would have backed off and, like I said, gone for the third earlier there, but so far Saxry is making it work. MC pushing out now, putting a pylon here in the center of the map. Let's see how far down here you can push. Again, this the attacker +1 upgrade just now finishing, but he's still very, very behind in the upgrade race.
Well, here we go. We do have Saxry coming up with his full army. Some great force fields going down from MC. Beautiful blinks, not losing any Stalkers yet. And in fact, even his sentries kept alive, picking off a big chunk of this army, but he has to be careful not to go too far forward.
As the Zerg army continues to push through here, for a little bit they're not intimidated by those force fields. He backs off, he regroups. All he has to do is keep his army on the creep and keep this other army from the Protoss are pushing forward. He's going in here again. Now these Stalkers can blink away one by one, but the damage output here with the number of Hydras he has is, I think, just too high.
Look at these Blinding Clouds, forcing those Stalkers forward or backward. Either way, really good, but oh my God, so many Stalkers. A beautiful concave and blink forward from MC.
MC probably going to do another warp-in round and then try to push forward again here. The supplies 158 to 143, but MC doing a great job of shaving off Zerg units here and there.
Oh, all over the place, Tasteless. Look at the supply now. MC has been sitting around 150 the entire time, but Saxory was maxed out before all that. He's lost a lot of units, and MC continues to push forward with his massive Stalker army.
Stalker's now pushing down here. Zerg backs up for a second, then moves back in here. I say the blinking is really, really good. It's tough to say if he can actually snowball this one. The Zerg with the Roaches and the Hydras together, Stalkers are great against Roaches, but the damage output is really, really fast for that.
That's true, but look, he's throwing down Blinding Clouds on the creep, and he's about to have Adrenal upgrades for the Zerglings, so they are going to be just pounding into these Stalkers. I think he's going to end up holding this, and I feel like MC has to switch out of pure Stalker.
Yeah, the longer MC does this, the harder it is for him to tech up as he's investing everything into these Stalkers. The Zerg army pushing forward here. Blinding Cloud going down, but MC blinks on top of the Hydras in an attempt to not have that Blinding Cloud space as well utilized here. There's still a good number of Stalkers here. More Zerglings coming up here. The combo of the Zerglings and the Hydras may just be too strong. Is he going to get the pylon in time? He doesn't.
Oh, he gets the pylon eventually. No more Warpins right there. And these Hydras still trading okayly against these Stalkers, but it doesn't look like it's quite enough. He's going to have to rally in some more units, which he is. And this attack may be held.
I think MC has just now lost this battle here in the center of the map. It went back and forth for a little bit there, but when you get a low Stalker count like that, you have to go back home.
Well,
and from here, by the way, Zerg has map control. Zerg has 4 bases. The left side of the map, very easy for Zerg to take. I would say for MC here, getting a 4th base, much more difficult. We've talked about games where when you're really ahead or really behind, you're kind of stuck going Stalkers sometimes. This is one of those moments.
You know what? This has been just pure beauty from Saxory. Great defenses so far, continuing to push forward. Gets the other Warpin pylon, and MC is just really stuck in this position of making Stalkers. But I don't think there's any point where he can actually break the army of Saxory.
I don't think so, and I don't know if it's going to be possible for MC to tech into anything else. I mean, Saxory almost has the full package when it comes to Zerg tech here, and he's got the bases to give him the income to where he has all sorts of different options on how he could finish this game off. MC is going to have to go into survival mode, but this is a great harass over here, hitting these Lings and these drones over here at this expansion.
Yeah, really smart move. A nice concave there. Zerg units are coming into a beautiful Blinding Cloud once again, but MC will just blink out of there, dealing at least a little bit of damage.
Well, we're at that point in time where the Zerg is going to be maxed out pretty quickly here. Now, MC can try to do counterattacks if the Zerg tries to hit into the 3rd or 2nd base here of the Protoss, but still, I don't see this working out too well. Again, though, MC very good, very agile with these Stalkers. He's now going to go into the main here.
This is quite a committal, Tasteless.
A little bit of a misblink there. Should have gotten closer to the ramp so he could have fit more up there. But this is actually not a bad move at all. He's getting Overlords. He will be able to blink down here onto the low ground when he finally does get cornered.
Oh, man, but there's Infestors waiting for him. Instead, he blinks forward onto the Hydras, realizing his opponent over-countered on the low ground. A beautiful move, but these Stalkers are stuck.
Stalkers seem to be trapped, and there's the fungal. Beautiful. And he wipes out that Stalker army. I really don't know if MC can recover after something like that. But by the way, Jesus, he got a lot of value out of those Stalkers when he was harassing with him. And we're talking about 2 guys in the finals of a Dreamhack here. And still, MC able to do a lot of great maneuvering there, do a lot more damage than you would ever expect anybody to do with just Stalkers alone in a position like this.
Absolutely, it is true. But Saxory playing with 5 different types of units right now, 2 Spellcaster types against just Blink Stalkers. MC, I don't think is going to be able to hold on for much longer.
MC here, the longer... Okay, there we go. I was going to say, the longer you see Stalkers and just Stalkers without bases being destroyed, the more dire the Protoss situation is there. It is a best of 5, by the way, guys, not a best of 3 like the rest of this tournament. So Saxory only needs to win the next 2 games out of the next possible 4, and he will be a Dreamhack champion.
Well, I tell you, that was really well done by Saxory. I am so impressed with the way that he played that. He went up to the Hive, got those Blinding Clouds, which were phenomenal on the Blink Stalker only army, and then he got Adrenal Glands for those Zerglings. Like, these were very smart moves to help him counter the tech that MC was using.
You got to go back to that game, and think about that forge that was killed off, and not having that +1. I mean, talk about completely altering the way that whole matchup functions. All the way back to the very, very early days of Brood War, or actually even probably pre-Brood War, +1 attack is the centerpiece upgrade for Protoss against Zerg.
Yeah,
absolutely. That extra damage output is just too important. And to recover from there, I mean, against someone like Saxry, I think that's pretty difficult. In Control, you've had a lot of experience with Zerg, and you play Protoss as well. I mean, what was your whole take on that game we just saw there?
Well, I thought there's a couple things that really leapt out at me that were really interesting. One, Saxry watched MC defend this exact same attack very brilliantly and was like, I'll do the exact same thing, only probably better. And to his credit, he actually did. He executed this really well, getting that +1, not getting the third, which I thought was a bit of a mistake at the time, but not losing all of the hiders for free. He was able to make those transitions and trades really well. But one thing that really leapt out at me about this too is how many times have we seen MC end a PvZ with just pure Blink Stalkers? I think back to MLG 2010 and 11 with him versus Idra, where he was doing this back then as well. And Zergs never seemed to be able to keep up with his Blink Stalker micro and his macro. But here, I don't want to call it the first time, but one of the first times I can remember, Saxry looks at this in the eye and says, not that impressed. Beautiful play by the Zerg player.
Todd, what did you think about the initial Zerg engagement? Because Artosis and I were a bit caught off guard. I thought he was going to zone out that army and put it in the second, and then rush the third and get the Nexus, but he identified that situation. It was
going up that ramp was kind of crazy, seeming at the time.
I don't know if he force-filled it enough units. You know, a lot of links got up there, and then he started losing sentries. He had to pull back. He didn't have a concave setup up the ramp. I think MC was very hesitant to maybe come into his own ramp and try and fight closer to the Zerg there. And in the end, he just lost way too much there. Losing the +1 meant he only got state later on at like the 15th minute, which is super late. Like the Zerg was already on Hive Tech. And going into this series, I was actually wondering like how this was gonna go strategically. And I really felt like whoever chooses to dictate the pace and makes the first move as far as like big attacks go, not just like poking or harassing, he's gonna have some momentum and a lot of possibilities as to what they can deck to and all that. So Saxry answered pretty quickly with the Hydralisk and Zergling attack, and from there I feel like he was always setting up for a big attack later on or something like that, or just good transitions with the fourth base. And when MC attacked actually in the middle of the map, I thought that Saxry was maybe gonna throw it away. His Viper was out of position, he didn't have energy or something. A lot of units got force-fielded, and for a moment I thought, wow, is this gonna be another one of those games where MC just steamrolls with just a ton of stalkers? But in the end he held, and from there...
That was pretty amazing too. He took his fourth and saturated while losing the hiders running away from the third. Like, that's something that was missing from Vortex and Hyun, I believe, where we saw those same attacks get murdered. They didn't have a fourth base.
You know, we were talking earlier about how MC just doesn't lose battles. Obviously, he did lose that last game, but when we saw those stalkers actually run past, well, first blink up into that fourth base, do some harass there, then blink down, then run all the way into the main and almost blink out, I'm thinking, that is exactly why this guy wins almost all of his engagements. This is just stalkers, he's behind in upgrades, and he's doing this well. I mean, he almost did not get fungled there, by the way. He almost actually blinked out. It really does highlight just how good MC's control is. Can MC, or I should say Saxry, win here just off games that are more standard, more textbook? Because that last game's kind of weird, right? That's Protoss without an upgrade, the central upgrade for the matchup and the way it kind of navigates Protoss to a win. He doesn't have that. Can Saxry actually beat MC unless he gets some kind of quick edge like that early on?
I want to say yes, because I think overall, if you just look at the Saxry games we've seen throughout the tournament, he's been strategically probably the most solid player in this tournament so far. His ZVZs were just like, this is how you play ZVZ.
And he's been tested. Stefano played weird. Starbuck played weird. And every time, he wasn't rattled. He was fine.
To MC's defense, it was merry-go-round.
It was merry-go-round. It is a slightly Zerg favorite map for sure.
I got your back, MC.
Just the fact that he went, it was just beautiful strategic play, and I think that Saxry is going to keep that up, and it's going to be hard for MC to bash him.
All right, guys. Well, we're having a good time. Hopefully you are as well. We're ready to get into game number 2. So, casters, take it away.
It's on now. One-on-one map here in the bottom right. He started out here the underdog, but he's already up 1 game in this best of 5. Make some noise for Saxry. And his opponent over here in the upper left, winning. How much has he won? Actually,
$423,000.
He is MC.
It's a lot of money, Tasteless.
Yeah. It's actually an incredible amount of money. He does well in tournaments like the GSL, where you have a week to 2 weeks to prepare for each series. He does well in marathon tournaments like Dreamhack, where you don't even know who you're going to be facing necessarily when you get to a deep enough point in the tournament. He is just easily one of the best RTS game players of all time, but tonight might not be his night.
No, it may not be, and I think he would be pretty frustrated by that, to be honest. MC knows that he's a champion, and he probably expects himself to beat someone that he himself called a no-name.
Yeah. That is a very good point, actually. I wonder if MC was, in fact, more worried about his semifinal match than the one he's at here now.
Maybe.
Maybe thinking, I guess I was wrong about that.
Lennox pretty good, so I would understand that. Lennox has won a lot. Saxry is kind of a fresh name. Of course, MC kind of knew who he was anyways, as he's a top-level Korean pro. But that being said, let's take a look at this game and what's going on. Saxry, without any quick drone scout or anything, went double hatchery before pool. When last game, MC was trying to open up with the cannon rush, here he said, you know what? You're going to do a gateway expand. I'm going to go ahead and double hatch. Saxry is reading MC like a book.
Yeah, so far so good for him here. This map is a really cool map because of the expansion layout here. After you get past the second, we've seen a lot of different play styles here for how some players should be expanding. Which location do you take? Some expansions here allow you to be the aggressor more easily. Others more turtly. And for instance, in this case with Saxry, you see that bottom expansion he's taken at the third. Very defendable location. We've seen some Protosses like SOS actually expand for their third in this case to the if we were to take MC's position here, the center left location so that they can push a little bit further. So we're gonna have to take a very close look at the expanding patterns here for both sides and see exactly how they handle engagements from there.
Very true, because as you said, especially about Saxry's side here, you can defend that third base pretty easily. It's hard for Protoss to get down there and actually kill it off. We have seen in the past some +2 Blink Stalker all-ins here, sometimes going up the Rock Path side. But I don't know that we're going to see that. It's not so popular anymore. I feel like this is a map that we get a lot of longer games on.
Yeah, much longer games here. Zerg, usually this gets to the most tense point here when Zerg actually has that base that's, I guess you could say bottom center, not the one at the very, very bottom, but a little bit above that here. That's a tough one for Zergs to hold sometimes. If we do go into the late game, we've seen Tempest use here because the expansions are actually in pretty close proximity to each other.
Well, right now we do have this Overlord being taken out. It's just trying to scout, figure out what's going on. So far, what that Overlord has seen is actually pretty good, right? He sees 3 additional gateways. He sees no gases at the natural, and he sees 2 stalkers. So he has to be a little bit careful. Like, this could turn into something like a 7-gate.
Yeah, and after seeing MC, especially in that last game, and seeing what he can do with units that haven't even matched the proper upgrades for the timing of the game, wouldn't be a bad idea. He's shown this that he can really eke out a lot of damage and a lot of map control, even when he's not where he's supposed to be. And by the way, MC, one of the few players we see that usually takes a blow early on and has to play the recovery game. He's actually quite the opposite. He either wins with his timing attack, or he just hasn't really made any major strategic or tactical mistakes, and therefore his opponent probably more likely to screw something up in that whole process,
That's
and
for
he just
sure.
wins from there.
Well said. I love this move, by the way. We have a bunch of speedlings out here.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
God.
Oh, he catches
Oh.
two stalkers right away.
That was,
A big move there by Saxry.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, here's the problem: is that you need a little bit more than just the sentries to comfortably hold this base off here. He's rushing forward. The sentries can't turn around now. Oh my God, that force field was so good.
He
That
just
was-
got there in time.
That was like down to the pixel. So the Ling's back off now.
Well,
But the force fields, they don't last forever. And it looks like he's going to have to come up here again. More sentries come in. It looks like MC should secure the third, no problem.
you know what? He continues to poke in here, though. He's trying to make him use any force fields that he can, maybe even a Nexus Cannon, because we have Roaches on the way, as well as a bunch more Lings. He is going back into drones as well, so it's not an all-in attack, but this is a very aggressive move from Saxry, and he does have to get something done, or MC will take a strong lead.
Okay, a few more stalkers are being warped in here now. Note, there's a lot more sentries at the third here than at the, oh my God, another great set of force fields locking out. No, not locking out the Lings, just now doing that. He's got to micro these sentries back here. A few of them do go down, the rest now trying to break into the second here. Remember, Saxary didn't have success last time he did an attack like this, and he does get inside! And he's locked out his stalkers and sentries with that force field. The main has been penetrated.
Certainly has. That is a big move. A ton of Zerglings going into the main mineral line. A Zealot or two do get warped in, but he's killing a lot of probes.
And this may be too many probes to lose against a player with the caliber of Saxary. MC is going to have to try to do some serious recuperation here. It's actually 58 drones right now to 49 probes, and you got to count the interrupted mining timing as well. He's remaking his gateways, but this is not going to be an easy gateway count to balance out.
No.
Usually when you go for the mass gates in a build like this, there's a very specific period where you want to stop making probes so you can only make the gateway units so you have a good timing. He just lost a bunch of probes. It wasn't like he lost half of all his probes or anything like that,
Yeah.
but he lost enough that could really offset a good timing there from MC.
8 probes it's pretty significant, but you know what? Saxry had to give up a lot of units to kill off that economy, and MC didn't really lose any units, so he's going for that counterattack. It's a great move, it's a great idea, and I feel like he's going to be able to do actually maybe even more damage than we just saw Saxry do to him.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that one, Artosis. We do have MC just committing to the push, and I don't blame MC for doing this, by the way. He knows that he did take a big blow there, but what are you going to do? You have to commit to something. He's already got Burrow. This is usually a very bad sign when Protoss try to do a timing attack like this when they have Burrow. Whoa, nice force fields coming down here. Locks that in, but guess what? There's no detection there.
Awesome, awesome burrow. He's just going to do it again as well. He needs to burrow over and over again, make him use up all this energy. Look at the amount of energy. We've seen like 8 force fields and a guardian shield so far to kill about 2 roaches.
And MC's almost boxed in here. Notice he's keeping some of these roaches ahead. He might pop these up right. Is he? No.
Right
he's gonna
under
let
the
him-
sentries.
There
And
we
there
go.
we go. A beautiful move there. Picking off a few sentries, burrowing again, letting the rest of his roaches catch up. Saxry with some great moves once again.
I gotta say, Saxary tactically is looking brilliant. You know, we had game 1 with a very nice timing from Saxary here. In game 2, tactically, he is completely outmaneuvering the boss toss.
Yeah, some fantastic moves, really. MC has to move back, make sure that his third and natural and main are safe, and tech up. He's getting a Twilight. He has his Forge there. He just finished up his Robo as well. He needs some higher tech units, and he needs some better upgrades.
You see now the roaches hitting the back end of this expansion over here, and he's gonna actually run up here right now. And, you know, the Stalkers are not in a great position here. He does get some force fields down here, but he can still tear through this. Look at that, almost almost stopping most of those roaches from coming up here now. And by the way, he's right out at where the Robo is.
Well.
It does look like, he does have an observer there. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, he
he
has
does
an
have an
observer.
observer. There it is, excuse
Yeah,
me.
he's cleaning the roaches up.
And so he drives back the Zerg forces now. I'm wondering if Saxary actually did a little bit of an overextension there.
That
was a pretty bold
That was a pretty
move.
optimistic, bold,
Yeah.
optimistic, a mistake I think that we can all agree upon. He lost a lot of units there and didn't really do any damage. We may see MC move out again very soon. He's going to have +2, Blink. He has the Observer to help against those burrow tactics, and he even has an Immortal about to pop out against a mostly Roach army.
You know what he's probably going to do? He's got those 2 armies on either side of his opponent's base. He's probably going to keep trying to counter while he secures this 4th base down here in the bottom left.
Yeah, I think he needs to buy himself some more time, even using burrow movement right now, getting some Roaches up there.
I don't know if this was necessary. Because these Roaches will be picked off up here. Yes, they'll get some probes, but it is, then again, it is really stalling here.
Yeah, but every time he stalls, he's just losing a lot of units.
Yeah,
he's not getting damage done.
I felt like the Roach run-in would have been worth it if he had just waited for the Protoss army to leave, but no, a lot of those Roaches taking damage. The supplies actually almost evened out there for a second. It just popped back up now. As we are 193 supply with 9 Roaches currently being made, but that happened. But MC, with the force fields that were just not necessary there, not quite on top of his micro as we're used to seeing in some of these other tournament games.
Well, I gotta say, there's a lot of multitasking going on. Saxtree is all over the place. He's using bro movement. He's using tactics to attack 3 locations at once, and it can be hard to micro everything perfectly, but I'm still liking MC's position here. This is just a mass Roach strategy.
The Roach is now going to come up here again. He'll blink away the weaker ones. The gateways here are a bit of an obstruction, harder for the other Stalkers once they do blink away to be able to get in there and still do damage. A nice time warp there, as I think MC is going to try to smash this entire army.
That's right, a blink forward, very aggressively chasing down these Roaches. Kills off quite a few once again, and MC takes the supply lead. A really big deal at this point against a Roach-based army.
Now, this is really smart here by Saxer. He's forcing him to chase this army while he remakes his army somewhere else. If MC were to ignore this and try to do another attack, the risk of that army, that little Roach army counterattacking would be too strong. But meanwhile, on the left center side of the map, we already have Lings and Roaches coming up here now.
Oh, a beautiful move. Those Zerglings getting on top of the Stalkers right away. And we have the Roaches coming up as well to help tank and deal some more damage. This is absolutely awesome by Saxtree. He's losing units all over the place, but now finally starting to get some damage done.
He does come up here from behind, but this is keeping the Protoss very, very busy back here at home. There is a force, though, in the center of the map right now for Protoss. Looks like he was debating going and attacking into the bottom expansion, but instead he's going to try to regroup. No, excuse me, okay. He went back up, now he's going to go back down here and probably hit this 4th base.
I think he's going to do some damage, too, really. Still just Roaches and Lings all over the place. We do have that Infestor tech. We'll see if Saxtree wants to make any. Definitely could help out, and in fact, he does start a couple.
MC with a small, well not small, really large actually group of Stalkers over here. Keeping his opponent busy, nice shaving off some of those drones. And MC's now keeping the Zerg busy on the Zerg side of the map. Meanwhile, there are reinforcements coming down here to connect with the rest of this army. And this could be a huge blow here, possibly even killing MC if the force fields are good enough.
That's right, Saxtree pulling back. He needs to get a huge amount of surface area, but that is a lot of force fields left over. 2 Immortals as well. This Roach army gonna get absolutely shredded, trying to use burrow movement to get out of there, but where is he going to run to?
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide really at this point in time. I mean, these expansions are just too important. And if you notice this cavity here in the middle upper part of the map, really making it more difficult for the Roaches to engage everything. MC can just continue to blink away while the rest of his army comes. Oh my God, that Fungal on the upper right was really good. But no, it's just still not enough. I mean, there's too much.
A great Fungal, but where's the follow-up? MC takes the game, GG, and ties up the series 1-1.
Really nicely done there by MC. The earlier parts of that game, Saxtree looked really good. I think the problem is that when he made that big Roach attack through the backside of the second, it just didn't do enough damage. And that was, not only not doing enough damage, he lost so much of his army.
Yeah, I think that it was a bit over-optimistic, a bit bold, and definitely not something that he's going to be happy about. Reflecting upon the game, saying to himself, what did I do wrong? Where could I have done something better to maybe change the outcome? Losing that many Roaches for that little damage definitely had something to do with it.
This was a good game to see because there hasn't been a lot of parity. It felt like there's been a pretty decisive, like, oh, that didn't work and I'm dead. And in this game, Saxby, for a while there, was kind of ebbing and flowing back and forth. Like, yeah, there's a couple bad engagements, but he was making some stuff work with all that hectic play. Tasteless, I heard you talk about this in the commentary. There's some useless force fields going down, some missed micro. That happens when you're all over the place, even to a guy like MC who is as good as he is. But in the end, still, Blink Stalkers are just too much. And that's like how almost every MC PvZ ends.
If you don't kill the Forge 6 seconds before +1 finishes, it's a lot more difficult to beat MC's Mass
6
Stalkers.
is generous, Todd.
That's the secret strategy, man. That's the.
And man, MC on King Sejong Station, it's actually a very hard map to deal with his style, I think.
He really manipulates the way that map is shaped very, very well with the Blink Stalkers. Saxby was doing a really good job, too. I like the part where he was running with the roaches after the failed attack all the way to the upper right.
And he tried to use the backdoor, too. That was interesting, but MC is not a man that lets himself get surprised with the backdoor.
It's kind of scary, too, because if you're the Zerg, you're like, Blink Stalker Sentry is kind of the answer to just about everything. That's what makes it so strong. So you don't go into this and say, oh, okay, he's a super Colossus guy, so I'm going to be Spire Tech, or he's a gateway rusher, I just need Roach Lane. If it's Blink Stalker 3 base, you're like, I need to out macro him, I need to catch him off guard later in the game. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's really interesting. I remember early on in StarCraft 2 when people really got down these force field walls, and then actually the parts where you'd force field off half their army and engage it. But with MC, now we're really seeing that, plus he just blinks to every possible high ground or across every possible ledge while that's going on, constantly changing the structure of how every engagement goes. And
I agree. I love force fields. You're right. They're great.
And Blink.
Tasteless 2014.
You guys love him, but MC really loves them, judging from those games.
MC's bank account loves it more.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Those pay out dividends, man. But unfortunately for our Zerg player, I mean, there was not much it looked like he could do. I thought he was doing a pretty decent job with the countering and everything.
Dan, I haven't heard your sweet, sweet voice in a little while. Tell me about StarCraft.
It's a great game, beautiful game. In fact, the best game that there is.
It's an RTS game with 3 races.
That's right.
Protoss, Terran, and Zerg.
RTS means real-time
Very
strategy.
similar to Aliens
In the
versus
future,
Predators.
there's nothing but war.
I think that a big part of it, as you were saying in Control, in that game was the map. MC really, really strong on King Sejong Station. Yeah. But again, Saxby overcommitted a little bit. I felt like in the first game, even though, you got the +1, and that definitely made a big difference, just strategically, I liked what Saxby was doing a bit more against MC.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Nimbus? What type of strategy does he go for here to try to stop this style of MC that we see most often?
Do you roll the dice and go 3-hatch before pool? This is a map where that's kind of okay. It's a 4-player map. You have an in-base natural, but MC is okay with cannon rushing.
He tried it game 1, and game 2 it was a gateway expand, against which he did go double hatch before pool. So I think Saxby just kind of knows what MC's brain is like, how it's working.
I don't want to see Roach aggression. Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like this is a map where...
Even with Mutas behind it?
Well, okay, that's a little bit different. What I mean is just pure Roach burrow movement aggression on this map. You have a natural on lockdown that's not going to get touched. And if MC can secure that third, which is not too hard to do, this map lends itself towards that, it's nigh impossible to deal with. So I want to see a little bit different. I want to see lane light Roach into fast Muta or something else.
Okay. Sounds good.
What are you thinking, Dan?
I was thinking Mutas on this map. If you go for Mutas and then you have Roaches before that, you can expand very quickly everywhere. And even against somebody like MC, as long as you don't take a horrible fight where you get everything force-fielded and you lose all your Roaches, you're going to be okay. You're going to have a lot of room to make something happen with the Mutas.
All right, guys. Well, the game is ready. It's underway. It's tied 1 apiece in this best of 5. This is the grand finals. Hopefully you guys are as excited as we are. Let's throw it away to the casters, Tasteless and Artosis.
1-1 now. This is game number 3. Over here in the upper right, in the red, we have our Zerg player, Saxby. And here in the bottom left, make some noise for MC.
Sounds like he is the fan favorite, as he almost always is, Tasteless, by the way. A great crowd here in Valencia.
Yeah, you guys are a lot of fun, by the way. Thanks for waiting for the finals. We got this synced up with Swedish TV, so we had to start at a very specific time. But I got to tell you, Artosis, I want to come back to Valencia. I really like the city. It's my first time here in Spain. And it's really cool to see Dreamhack just taking over everywhere.
That's right. Our new future overlords. Now, we were talking about this map a little bit with In Control and Todd and like what strategies they want to see. I gotta say I disagree just like a little bit. I kind of want to see him go for Hydras once again here. That the main base is what is on top of your ramp, where your natural normally is, right? And the Nexus is just so far away from the ramp that the Mothership Core is not really that useful here. I feel like a Hydralisk pressure at the front, I feel like it could do a pretty decent job.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. It certainly could. I think that the only danger with, going for the Hydra pressure is what we've already seen, which is the counterattacks are so brutal.
Yes.
Your army doesn't get away, first of all.
No.
You usually lose everything. And then second of all, you don't have, I shouldn't say immobile defense, because your units can move around, but it's nowhere near comparison to the mobility of Blinkstalkers with sentries during a counterattack. So, look, I think if he can make an attack like that work early on, and do something like kill that forge like game 1 or better, it's worth it. But if not, he will be punished for it, I think.
Well, let's take a look at these opening builds. It looks like Saxry once again going for double hatch before pool and then even a gas before pool. So that is the absolute greediest build that you can do as a Zerg versus Protoss. But MC is doing an extremely greedy build as well, obviously. He's going for a Nexus first, into a Gateway. Looks like some good macro openings from both players.
And these guys are some of the best with macro. It'll be interesting to see if there's no mid-game timing, how exactly this turns out. Because both times Saxry is the one who is the initiator early on. Even though, for instance, MC did open up with the option to do that cannon rush. I mean, the situation wasn't viable after he scouted him. But I'm curious to see, is this something Saxry is going to be doing every time? Some kind of, engagement like that. It's like you get someone in like a Muay Thai clench. You limit their mobility and they have to deal with now the position that they're in. It seems like so far Saxry is taking that approach in order to win this best of 5.
Yeah, and I do like to see it. It's just so hard to enforce upon MC. Now, MC this game going for a Stargate. You think Oracle once again?
Yeah, I think Oracle. Although MC surprises me pretty often, so maybe he'll mix it up. But a lot of these Oracle builds have lended themselves to not only great offense, but great defense too, which is, I think, one of the reasons why Protosses have, even more so now than ever after the 3 bases, gone for these huge Blinkstalker plays, because you can defend. You can get a little bit greedy, get up that Twilight Council out, get a lot of gateways out, probably still defend with the Oracle, along with the Mothership Core. Nice job there, getting rid of that Overlord. But it just seems like the Oracle puts you in a more flexible position to do some of these more aggressive mid-game timings here, and that's why MC might take it.
I do have to agree with you on that, Tasteless. But we do have a bunch of lings being made by Saxry once again. This is actually very similar to the first game that we saw so far, but oh my god, look at this. He's adding a bunch of gateways. He killed off the Overlord. He's showing a build that looks very similar to something he used before, which had a quick 3rd base. But it looks, Tasteless, like he wants to go for some really massive aggression.
This is a smart build. It's always good to do in a best of 5, for instance. If you've opened up really similarly, to make a quick alteration of the build where you're more aggressive the next time around. And notice he's really targeting down some drones there. That was, only 3 kills.
Yeah, it didn't do quite as well.
I thought
he
actually got more for
slightly.
Yeah, he had hit multiple drones there that didn't die. Okay, well, this timing attack up here could still really hurt Saxry. Saxry, and this is something that happens when you are good at StarCraft, because you're constantly adapting and learning. So far, the build to Saxry's eyes looks exactly the same as the previous one, but MC's going to hit with a punch before Saxry would do any of the normal timing attacks he's done before.
Yeah, and you know what? He's kind of checking the 3rd base of MC right now. Doesn't see a 3rd up. And
that's a tell. That's a tell.
Yeah,
okay, he knows it's coming now.
This is really important that he scouted this. This is 2 Oracles and a 5-gate pressure of Zealoth. So this is a really powerful attack. And in fact, I would say that there's a good chance he's going to be able to take down this 3rd base.
Okay, the Zealots are coming down now and driving out not only the Queens of the expansion, but the Zerglings at the pylon, getting the Spore Crawler. The hatchery is under threat. If Zerg loses this, it'll be a 2-base toss versus a 2-base Zerg. Definitely a situation most Zergs can't survive.
Oh, that is for sure. And with this many Zealots, for sure he will take down this hatchery. A big move here by MC. He has a ton of Zealots out.
And from here, there's actually several different ways Protoss can actually end the game. It looks like he's going to go ahead and charge forward with the Zealots. And look at this, he can even block off right there at that ramp so that the Zerglings can't get a really good surround. He moves up a little bit further here, and notice, perfect wall there at the ramp while he attacks over here into the Oh, what?
Oh,
Well,
he
okay.
doesn't quite have his Zealots spread correctly. Luckily, he does get one of these.
He dunk his lings in butter there. They just slipped right through. Okay. Well, he's now going to be able to hold off this attack much more easily. The thinking that was there with MC, but unfortunately the placement was not. However, MC still favored in these positions. Losing the Zealots nowhere near as bad as losing that third hatchery for the Zerg.
Yeah, no question about it. In fact, even going to get this Mothership Core here. We do see him teching up 2 Colossus at the moment. And that's the greatest thing he could have done because he realizes, hey, there hasn't been any roaches here. So this means this is a very Ling-based defense.
Yeah.
He needs Colossus to be able to actually break through.
And I think he could get that done here. Notice he still has that other pylon, not far from our 2-base Zerg now. Up against a wall like that, that's really hard for Lings to deal with. So, for the time being, Saxory is probably going to be more worried about defending from these Zealots short term than some of the other stuff long term you were mentioning.
Well, more gates on the way, Colossus being created, and a layer going up now for Saxory. He has started roach production, which is super important right now. There's no way he could hold on with just 1/1 Lings against Colossus Zealot.
The Lings are now going to gather up here. This is not uncommon for a Zerg player in any position to do this because you want to be able to counter into the main if Protoss does start to do something. Right now, MC, this is like the second big timing.
Yes.
Sometimes when you do these timings that are meant to win the game, and they don't win the game, but they do a really crippling blow, there's like the follow-up timing, which usually can deny the Zerg from at least getting to third base, and from there you can usually win.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing. He's sitting back here. I believe he's cut probes. He's not making that anymore. He's simply massing up, and he's gonna head and shut down, at least that's his plan, is to shut down the Zerg. Usually from here, Zerg wants to counterattack, although I just don't think that that's going to work against MC. You know MC is aware that's the only way that he could lose.
Yeah, really. I'm trying to think of some other way. What can Saxory do here? We have a ridiculous amount of sentries, all the way up at 10 at the moment. He still has both Oracles. He has a high-energy Mothership Core. He has 2 Colossus with range. He's even getting a Warp Prism to go along with his 16 Zealots. So this army is just ridiculous. And it's going to be going up against about 10 Queens, maybe 20 Roaches, and a bunch of Zerglings.
I like the usage of the Oracle there to cover that pylon and probe. It's another great way to just make sure you do get the warp-ins there no matter what. Now, obviously, knowing MC's force fields, he's going to make sure that he does not have, Saxory is going to make sure that he does not have the ability to force field that little location over there.
Well, right now it looks like MC is starting the attack. His pylon is up. He's warping in more units. He has a ton of force fields at his disposal. He's even tagged this army so he can see it coming before it gets there.
Warp Prism now gathering up with the rest of that. A nice concave here from Saxory. A few force fields do come down. Actually, really good force fields considering that engagement. I like the boxing there at the bottom left. The Colossi is not going to go touch. The Time Warps go down right when Zerg would probably want to be backing up now.
Oh, just a ridiculous attack coming out of MC. No way for Saxory to hold. MC is up by a good 30 supply, and GG! MC brings the match to match point.
Nicely done there by MC. In some of his games we've casted already today and yesterday, we saw him be hyper-aggressive here, but even though that timing, it was a little bit risky, it might not have worked out as well. He was very, very safe with the follow-up attack. It was actually a really smart move. He said, okay, I got rid of those, I got rid of that hatch, that Zealot wall in there at this block off the main did not work, but he did manage.
I liked the build, actually. Todd, have you seen that exact build yet? Like a 5-gate, 2 Oracle push? It's reminiscent of the Phoenix Zealot pressure.
Yes, the
But
4 or 5 Phoenixes and Zealots, but usually you would do it with +1.
Yeah.
MC did his own version here. MC can do anything he wants at this point.
I mean, it makes some sense when you think about it. The +1 allows them to 2-hit Zerglings, but if you just turn on some Oracles, they shoot so quickly, that's going to really help clean up Zerglings as well.
Yeah, in this situation, it was really the fact that this was well hidden, and it hit at a time when Saxry just wasn't ready. I guess Jeff will agree. We both have some experience with proxy pylons and mass Zealots warping that you send in as a surprise.
A couple things happen here. You guys keyed in on this with the Overlord dying and the previous games and even the previous series going in a very different direction. MC has followed up the Oracles with more macro play, taking a third, a Void Ray to clear up Overlords, even Colossus Tech or Blink Stalker Tech like we've seen on Merry-Go-Round time and time again. Here, he says, I bet you think I'm going to do the exact same thing because that's all I've shown. And I want to say it's a snap grab impromptu, like 5-gate, I have this opportunity, I'm going to take it, and sack, hook, line, and sinker, man. He did not, he thought something was happening that was just absolutely not what was happening.
It's like a strat like that is sometimes even more effective because of the builds you did before it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good alone, but it's even more effective when you were doing something a little bit more conservative in the games.
I think that's what happened. I don't think he went into this saying, I'm going to do a 5-gate, 2 Oracle timing attack. I think he said, oh, the Overlord's dead. I've started this way before. I'm going to change things up on him now.
You don't win that many tournaments like MC has without being able to do things like this on the fly and use your previous image and what your opponent is thinking about you against them. I mean, this is why he's the boss sauce. This is why he's a heavy favorite against everyone in the world.
I really like that MC is the one who tries stuff, like in that third game. He could have just sat back, take a third base, again open with Blink, but no, he chose to try something which was kind of do or die. Because if he had been spotted early, I really think that this can get crushed, and then you're very far behind. Like these Oracles, they never really do much later on. You're on like no tech Zealot, no +1, no Blink, nothing. So.
And this upsets the tempo for the rest of the series. Now Saxry looks at this and says, in the next game, he's like, well, there's an Oracle. Is it a gateway timing attack, or is he going to take a fast third? And it makes him start to guess himself, whereas MC now knows he's in the driver's seat. He can choose.
Yeah, and with the experience MC has, I mean, this is going to be very tough for our Zerg player here. It's hard to outthink a guy on the spot like this who's already had so much success. MC is just... This is why he wins so many tournaments, whether it be a marathon tournament like this one or a preparation weekly or every 2 weeks like the GSL. Because, yeah, he's got a bunch of great builds prepared, but he's thinking on his feet at the same time very well, too. Like you were saying in Control, that was probably not something where before this series started, he said, and game 3, the double Oracle with the Zealot all in there. But no, he looked at that and said, all right, this should work, actually, simply because of what's happened with my opponent's scouting.
Well, the next map is going to be Catalina. I'm wondering, what does Saxry do here? Does he continue to try to figure out what MC's doing and counter that? Or does he get aggressive on this big map?
It's a pretty okay map for that. You have to go down to low ground and then up again to high ground to get to that third. MC has shown that he likes Blink Stalker Sentry third base secure, and that's a great strategy, especially when you get a big concave. But if you get into narrowed spaces, it's kind of interesting because the force fields are both more strong at that time, but in certain situations, bad force fields also actually really hurt you in that case. So we'll have to see if he wants to be aggressive or not. Valencia, hopefully you guys took your siesta earlier on, but for right now, we're pushing on late into the night. We're going into game number 4, and let's give it to the caster so we can see what happens. Tastosis, take it away, guys.
All right, guys. This is game number 4 here with MC in the lead. In the center left starting location, we have our Zerg player. Right now, he has to win this game and the next. Make some noise for Saxry! And his opponent over here in the upper right, so far with absolutely brilliant control, the boss toss. Make some noise for MC.
All right, Tasteless. This is match point for MC. If he can take this game down, the championship is his. Saxry has to do it. Will he do it, Tasteless?
I'm pretty confident here that he's probably going to win here. I think that last loss there for Saxary has got to be a frustrating one because that has a lot less to do with mechanics and a lot more to do with my opponents inside my head.
Yeah.
He knows how I'm thinking. He knows how I react. And I think at this level of play, that can be the scariest of all.
That is scary when someone's inside your head and they're playing with your brain because he had no idea. When there were Zealots being warped in, he started 1-1 upgrades. I mean, that is the last thing that you need at that point.
That's one of those games that you end up playing, against your friend and you just fool him like that and he goes nuts and he's like, you don't even play the game right. You want to play a real game. I mean, it's a frustrating loss, because Saxary probably had all sorts of late game plans there. Guess what, Saxary? No late game at all. MC's not going to play by those rules.
Yeah. Well, that's MC for you. And he's switching up his build once again. He's going for what looks like a gateway expansion with an early Zealot. This very well could be one of these, 4 to 6 Stalker plus Zealot Warping attacks. It could be like just the pure Zealot Warping with a Mothership Core attack. I do think it's going to be a 4-gate, though.
Yeah, if it is something like that, it's funny because then you just amped it up once again here with your aggression, which is a smart move.
Yeah, it's one of the most aggressive follow-ups that there is, and one of the quickest follow-ups that there is to a fast expansion.
I'm thinking, because there's so many good Protosses and so many new good Protosses for that, actually, hold on a second. I was really surprised. This looks like a Brood War game.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. He's actually already killed 1 drone, and in fact killed 2 drones. I mean, making a Zealot send across the map and kill 2 drones is pretty good, and he got some scouting done.
So already a build that I think Saxary does not practice against. He should be holding off these lanes. I was going to ask you, but then I was totally caught off guard by that Zealot. This is not your average Protoss build here. We got so many good Protosses now and so many new good Protosses now. Is it still safe to say MC prepares the best for a best of 5?
I think that there's a handful of Protosses, like maybe 4 or 5 world top Protosses that prepare really well, like SOS and Zest, but I think you have to put MC at the top of the list. He still wins more money than anyone. This guy, he's always at the top of tournaments. These other guys fall down, they go back up. No one, through the history of StarCraft 2, nobody has been as solid as MC.
And I think we're seeing that now here. I wish we could get inside of Saxary's head right now after seeing that for Zealot.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking, what?
Really?
You send that? Okay.
Well, here's where inside his head right now, and so is MC. He's making a spine crawler on 2 bases. That's kind of weird too, right?
This doesn't even look like a standard meta PvZ here.
No, this is weird.
This looks like if this game had been patched 5 or 6 times from now, and the game was approached completely different. This is not how a normal PvZ looks. We are in the finals here at Dreamhack, so whatever MC is about to show us, he's decided it's worth pulling out in the most important moment of a tournament.
Well, it is that 4-gate that we were talking about, Tasteless. It looks like it's going to be the Stalker-heavy one. Will Saxary be able to hold this on 2 bases? It's normally a build reserved to kill a 3rd base with.
Oh, the Lings just slip right through there.
Oh, my
And if he gets that pylon, those gateways are not going to be powered. And by the way, even if he's trying to defend it with those probes are not mining. They're supposed to be banking minerals to get the Stalkers here. Oh my God. It's getting lower. 20. That's it!
A huge move there by Saxary. A great little counterattack. He's done so much damage. This attack is going to be so much slower now. I can't imagine MC being able to kill him off with it anymore.
This rush has been completely foiled. He could still try to go through with it, but the timing is way off. And a timing attack like this where you have the Stalkers versus slower Zerg units is usually very specific. So the fact that those Lings got in there and got that pylon, this is a lot like game number 1, Artosis, where you got the Forge, where I'm saying, well, that just changes the way this entire game's going to pan out now. There's something Saxary just accomplished that could, assuming he survives this rush, bring us here to game number 5.
Well, it looks like MC wants to follow through with this. He's made a lot of Stalkers, but with multiple Queens, a Spine Crawler, and now a bunch of Roaches on top of a creep-laden hill, He's not going to be broken, I don't think. I mean, this is MC has to get his additional gases, and he has to tech up.
I mean, he's going to have to go back into the tech tree that's going to give him actual results past this point in time. He didn't do any damage, really, if you just subtract that one Zealot that came in there and attacked. He's got Stalkers. He can do a lot with that, but that doesn't mean that it's going to keep him safe in the long run. The only thing I'm thinking about here for Saxory is that he does not have a third base.
Yeah.
And that's a bit uncomfortable. This is actually, again, it looks a lot like the older Brood War DBZs where Zerg oftentimes could only be on 2 bases because the Protoss did some weird aggression early on.
Well, he's getting his Roach speed on his 2 bases, so I think that's going to allow him to take a third rather quickly thereafter, but MC's been on 2 bases for a long time. Of course, he's a little bit light on probes. Only at 38 right now, not fully saturated, so maybe not as bad as it looks.
Yeah, maybe not, actually. He is going to get back in here into his expansion. And with the Roaches out now, I think MC timed out the escape strategy to his home base at the exact right time. The question, though, is with the Robo out, if he gets a few Immortals out here, is it possible to just do another timing here while Zerg's trying to take a third? I mean, this is a lot of Roaches to have off of 2 bases.
Yeah,
I believe what Zerg said, they're at almost even worker count right now.
I think that's exactly what he's thinking, Tasteless, is that he is going to do a follow-up with Immortals, and it should be very powerful, but this is a nice pressure. It's not a move that can kill off MC right now, but to kill off anything, to get him on the defensive, maybe kill a few units here and there, it's very nice.
Here comes a Changeling to get in here. This is some much-needed scouting because of the weird rhythm of this game here. He does see the Twilight Council, which is the most important thing for him to scout because now he has he actually doesn't even have a much better idea. He actually just knows now how late Blink is going to be and therefore how much stronger his Roach army is going to be before there's a big game change there with the power that Protoss has when they leave their base.
Well, it looks like Saxory right now wants to go into Swarm Host play. He's getting that Enduring Locust upgrade. He's even getting Burrow movement, which is kind of interesting. And this is going to be pretty strong overall against an army made out of Stalkers without Blink, a bunch of Zealots, and some Immortals. I mean, the Swarm Host is a great unit for pushing all those back, but MC's army, I think, is a little stronger right now, so he has to be careful not to lose those Swarm Hosts before he hits a critical mass.
Yeah, there's always that window when you're going for the Swarm Hosts where you can be punished. Swarm Hosts get exponentially better the more you have. I guess there is a cap-off point where you have to have other Zerg units to back them up, but obviously 9 way better than 3, for instance, because they're creating enough matter to slow down the Protoss. But speaking of Protoss, we have MC now moving out, and it looks like he might actually be attacking. No, excuse me, he's going to back off here. A small counterattack there by Saxory. MC backs up. Is he just going to take a third? I thought he might be trying to push here.
It looked like he wanted to push. It really did. He had an Observer in with his army to push back some creep. His army is really strong. He's continuing to make Immortals. But it looks like, he does want to take a third base. It's just the amount of Immortals he has is actually kind of shocking. This is a lot. And I guess that's just because he sees so many Roaches out there.
Well, you got to think, too, when you get that many Immortals, normally you want to actually hit with them and try to do the damage. Immortals are, I think, much better for offense in situations like this than they are going to be for defense here, especially against Swarm Hosts, because they just start to lose equity the longer the Swarm Hosts are in the game.
Very, very true. Well, we do have Locust coming over right now. And in fact, he's attacking from 2 different angles, or trying to put on some pressure from 2 different angles. And this Swarm Host count is getting really high, Tasteless. It is time for MC to go into Colossus play.
Swarm Hosts are now going to be applying pressure here on this third base. This third base not even done yet. And might not even be, if it does finish, be around for too much longer here. MC, by the way, identifying that Swarm Hosts are in play. He knows he has to start drawing the Locust away from his base and to somewhere else. So they're at the first few force fields. Oh, man, and they still slipped through, which is actually very annoying. Since this is a lot of shields that will just be chiseled off here.
Just slightly sloppy there from MC. Won't lose too much right now, but, with every shot, those Locusts gain more value for our Zerg player, Saxory. His creep spread continuing to push forward. Looks like he wants to do a little counterattack here. This is
Oh my
kind of
God, he
interesting.
actually got in there.
That's a pretty heavy committal right there, Tasteless.
And he kills that pylon. Not as impactful as the first time he got it. Now he's rushing in here, going into the main. Now keep in mind, this Roach army can be taken out, but what's more important is that the third base for MC is completely exposed.
That's right. He's sacrificing a lot of Roaches, and we're going to see all the Locusts go towards the third base. Will he be able to kill this third base off? It looks like he will. There's no units here to defend.
And the third base is going to be taken out now, putting MC in a serious economic bind. And with Swarm Host already out, it's possible he may just unburrow and go right outside the entrance to the Protoss' base. You know, when you get a wall in like that for Protoss at your second base, and there are Swarm Hosts right outside, it's actually very difficult to deal with.
That's very true. It's hard to break out down your ramp,
Yeah.
but MC immediately evacuates that area. He
Good
realizes he has to be mobile on the map. He needs to start getting aggressive and hit various areas because these Swarm Hosts, they're immobile, but that's really their only weakness.
MC has to do some damage and do it quickly. He's moving out now. Nice angling here to engage that Zerg army. But as you can see, Saxry just making sure he can get away with his Swarm Host so he can reposition and try to defend in that way. We see another blink over here. He's heading up now. He wants to get rid of anything that he can over here at this third base. Is he going to be able to do that in time, though?
Well, it looks like the Locusts are there to greet him once again, Tasteless. The Roach is going for a flank. He even has some Infestors out. This is a hard location for him to hit, but he has the Mothership Core and a lot of force fields. So this army isn't in danger really yet.
Yeah, but, you know, at just a few more minutes here, and there's going to be no more force fields. By the way, there's still no third base here for MC. If he loses this army, he's essentially lost the game. And my God, he barely dodged that bungle. He's backing up now, but again, I just don't see any options here for MC.
Well, MC, he's trying to make options. This is what MC does best. When it looks like the game is lost, when it looks like there's nothing that can be done, MC walks around the map and looks for weakness. As soon as he sees weakness, he will pounce. So Saxry cannot let up. He has to continue to play brilliantly.
You know, MC wins so many games just off engagements. I'm not surprised at all he's going to try to move around here and see if he can't get you know, a good shot here where the Swarm Hosts are out of position or the Roaches are at a bad angle and can get owned by force fields. But again, Saxry just on top of it. Nice bungle there. But Saxry, being the smart player he is, backs off, only wants to engage when he absolutely knows he can win. Still, Protoss not on third base. All he has to do is keep whittling down the shields, the energy of MC's army, and he should win in the long run.
That's right, but MC is gearing up for something very specific. This is going to be a two-base all-in attack. He has built 3 Colossus. His 4th is about to pop out. And this army is very good, Tasteless. This army does have potential to roll through those Swarm Hosts if controlled correctly.
Okay, he's coming up now. He does take that Locust out. Notice going right around that pillar there. And just making sure he has as favorable as engagement as possible because MC, very unlikely that he'll just get a third base up and try to win this one in the long run here. I mean, this army has to do the damage.
Yeah, he has to get a lot of damage done. He may make a third base as
Oh
a
my
backup.
God, really nice.
Wow.
Actually getting that Colossus. I did not expect that to happen.
A very good snipe. You need as many Colossus as possible to break through those Locusts. It's one of the only ways to really do it. And with only 3, it's going to be a bit harder.
He's coming up now, shaving off a few more Roaches. Now, the Greater Spire is on the way here, and when there are Broodlords out, this army of the Zerg is not going to be killed. That should be checkmate.
It makes it so much stronger. Just free units all over the place. Really hard to break through. But here we go. MC starting to attack up into this third base of Saxry. Will he be able to actually kill it off with this many force fields? I think, yes, he will be able to.
If he can get in there and do this, I'm going to be so impressed with MC because MC has been in such a bind for most of the series. Really nice time warp. Notice how he's using the gas geyser and the small angle to really make it tough for the Zerg to actually get in here. He's inching forward. He's probably going to get this hatchery. He's getting close to the Swarm Hosts.
And it looks like he's force fielded out all of these Locusts for now. Still dealing a lot of damage. His Immortal's going to work on that hatchery. His Colossus trying to kill off all of the units behind these force fields. And in fact, he's continuing to push forward. Tasteless, he's going to break the base.
And he's not stopping there. He's going to keep pressing forward on into the second. A small group of Roaches is there taking out probes to make sure this army gets smaller and smaller as MC tries to reinforce. It's going to really boil down, simply put, to how MC MC controls this death ball we see right here.
That's right. He has to continue to break through, running from the Locust right now because he's down to 2 Colossus, though. He needs to keep these Colossus alive. Really, it's the only way to get through those Locusts with any sort of cost efficiency.
He's backed up. He's repositioned now. Look at the supplies here. It's 166 to 139. There's almost no income, by the way, here for MC. In fact, I think there's only a handful of probes mining that expansion. So MC has to move very carefully here, but also the income, not anything special here for Saxry. Look at this, blinking through ever so delicately, letting those Immortals take the damage, for instance.
Right.
They're less important right now than the Stalkers, the Colossi. He's getting closer. Can we
man.
see a good fungal off over here? Another blink right up there to try to engage the Infestors.
Uh-oh, that is a lot of Locusts. He does blink forward to try to take out these Broodlords, but a nice transfusion going down, and it looks like Saxry will break it.
GG!
Oh my God, it looks like we're going to game number 5.
Saxry, I gotta say that did not look easy for him. I think in most cases you watch a game like that, you're thinking, oh, there's no way Protoss can win, but that last little push there from MC,
Deadly, just deadly.
yeah, luckily he had a lot of transfusions on those queens and some good fungals, but damn, man.
A lesser Zerg would have fallen there, for sure. That was a crazy game, though. Really, both players thinking on their feet quite a bit.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
What do you think about that game?
That was really exciting. It's weird watching MC do that. It was essentially a 2-base all-in against like 4-base swarm host. And in my head, I'm like, Todd, let's get up. Zerg's gonna monster mode this. And then in that fight at the third, force fields walling off, blinks back against the Corruptors. He's picking off the anti-air, and I'm like, no, MC, you're actually breaking the rules of StarCraft 2 right now.
If we had to really dumb down that game, that was a 2-base all-in against a 4-base don't die. I mean, he just stayed back and kept getting the swarm host. He said, I got enough transfuses. I don't think my Broodlords are going to die, even if the Stalker's going to underneath
I was
them.
really surprised at the choice of not getting Vipers. Like, who the hell needs to
Yeah,
take the
right.
Broodlords in this situation? You
That's-
just get like 3 Vipers and you won, that's it.
Maximum free units.
Well, this is anybody's game here. We do have to remind everybody that the start of that game, there was that pylon that was unpowered. with
Pylon
3 gateways.
sniper
That was
stick.
Yeah.
That was.
That was
very
really
cool.
important. You know, he really wanted to hit that 4-gate, and that is a very strong build. And with micro like MCs, it definitely would have done some damage. So once again, Saxry picking off a really important building early in the game and shifting the entire
Yes.
game into his
Yeah.
favor.
And Saxry saw that earlier on too. He was being very active with his lings, which was nice to see. You were about to say something though about that.
Yeah, I wonder if Saxry picked up on the fact that MC right now, when he picks a build and he commits to it, he doesn't even leave a unit back at home in his wall. It's happened many times this tournament.
Yeah,
And he's
actually, that's a
breaking
very good
even
point.
more rules in that regard. He's just playing mind games. He's thinking, well, they would never expect my wall to be not closed. Like, I'm MC after all. So he goes for it, but Saxry might have picked up on that. That's why he went for the counter, and it paid off. big
Word to the
time.
wise too to the young Protoss players out there, aka the future GSL champions of the world. Do not expand towards the Zerg that's going swarm host. That was a very weird mistake.
This was forced by Saxry because MC had to make a 3rd base right then, but that was fully creeped from an Overlord, the 3rd that you would normally take here. So Saxry is like doing all these little tiny things that are messing with MC.
Forced is a strong word here.
He basically took his arm, put it behind his back, and told him, "You are going to take the 3rd near me."
You know what? Your argument has shifted me. I agree fully. He had no other way about it. Been an exciting series though. We're going to game 5 here. It's going to be the final game. Gentlemen, let's do this. Who is going to take this last game? You've seen the first 4. Who takes the last one?
I have no idea. I mean, I think
Nick,
Saxry's
pretend.
playing a
Come on.
lot better. If gun to my head, I
There
would
it
just
is.
say MC, right? Because he's done that so many times. But the way Saxry's playing in these games, I think if he does a pretty strong blow somewhere in the early game, he's proven that he can stay ahead of MC and close it out. But it's going to have to be something like that.
All right, Tasos got MC. Dan, who do you go with?
I'm going to go opposite of that. I think Saxry is playing out of his mind. I think he's just playing fantastically on a map like Overgrowth. I feel like it's a nice map for Saxry where he can defend against these attacks. I'm going with Saxry.
Okay, and with that pick, Todd takes MC then. So ladies and gents, we're going to go into game number 5 here in just a minute. It's been hype. You guys have been awesome when you're talking about this. Make sure and hashtag DHOpen. We're here in Valencia, we're having a good time. Casters, show us this final game, please.
Final game is up now. We have in the bottom left, playing in the finals of his life. Give it up for Saxery. And in the upper right, will this be yet another championship for him? Make some noise for MC.
All right, Tasteless. Really exciting stuff going on. MC actually putting a pylon out for what looks like it will be a Forge expand. Let's not forget that Saxery for the last few games has been going double hatch before pool, so it looks like MC is getting a little bit sick of that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of all the little things that Saxery could do besides get a bunch of probes, kill a Forge when it's upgrading, or get a pylon that's powering 3 gateways in a time. I'm trying to think of other things like that that he could do to get a lead here. Because again, as I was saying before the game started, I think Saxery has to have some kind of crippling blow early on in order to close this out. I feel like in the normal games where no tech is lost early on, where the strategies are essentially not interrupted by something, MC's got it.
Well, he certainly has looked good in those games. There's no question about that. But Saxery has done so many smart moves, and this is a pretty big map, and I think it's not too hard to defend a Zerg on 3-4 bases here. I'm kind of feeling this kid, man. He's just playing so out of his mind this weekend.
Well, it's going to be a really big splash for him if he wins this Dreamhack Valencia. He's a really sought-after tournament to win. Dreamhack has been around for a long time, Artosis. Yeah. And it's definitely something that when you get this deep in a tournament doesn't happen all the time unless your name's MC. So if you're Saxery to win this here against a player who's made nearly $500,000 basically going to Dreamhacks or GSLs, that's a really big deal for him. So
indeed,
it's going to be an interesting ending to the story no matter what, but especially if you're Saxery and you win here.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's going ahead and taking a couple of hatcheries. MC just keeping his probe around, checking out what's going on at that gold base right now. Of course, Saxery has earlier in this tournament taken gold, so he's got to keep an eye on things like that.
And this is really a conservative play here from Saxery. He's just saying, he's just playing a safe game so far. He's checking for everything, but what he really wants to do is bring this into the end game and ideally look for any opening where he can hurt him. MC, that is.
Yeah, of course, that is MC for you. Gotta hurt this guy early on. Now, he's just getting the core, everything looking very standard, but nothing really looks weird in PvZ until sometimes after the cybernetics core. You know, we gotta wait for that to get up, see what tech he's going for, and figure out, you know, will Saxery see it? Is it to damage him? Is it to take a third base? And MC just keeps on varying his play, really. It's hard to figure it out.
You know, I really am curious if MC will do any kind of special timing attack or simply wait, because Saxery has done a few of his own aggressive plays, but they haven't always worked out. And especially when they get into the mid-game, even when Saxery's gotten a lead with his aggressive openings in some cases, he's overextended later on, and MC shuts it down and just wins with better control.
Oh my God, Tasteless. Perhaps the most hated build of all time. It looks like it may be the Soul Train. It may be a 2-base Immortal Sentry all-in.
Well, when you think about it, his control's been so good in this series. I mean, I think Saxery's made some very good decisions, but especially with something like Blink, and yeah, he was going to get that. So Saxery just temporary supply blocked here. This might be a really good move, especially when you're on the stage, the pressure's on, and it's this close. MC's got the most experience with this.
That is for sure, and he is going to just control it impeccably. That's just what he does. But we have speed on the way. We already have 2 gases taken. We have that Roach Warren coming. These are all things he really needs to do to hold an Immortal push, which, by the way, that is exactly what it is. MC is making an Immortal.
Guys, this rush is very hard for Zerg to stop, but if Zerg holds it, there's not as many options for Protoss.
It's hard to
unless the
follow it
Protoss
up.
does a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Like a ton of damage. killing a huge amount of the drones here. But again, this build also not the newest build in the world. It's been used for a long time.
For years, really, this has been a very popular build, but one thing we do have to point out, MC, without a doubt, one of the very best players with this build. He executes it brilliantly every time.
Okay, we got the scouting probe coming down here. The Lings are just going to wipe this probe out, and map control is going to go back to the Zerg. Now, it's very important that you get a pylon or two up here to help warp in, but part of this build is always incorporating a warp prism.
That's right.
So that you get in there, not just so that you can warp in other units, but so that you can pick up the Immortals when they start to take damage, because the amount of damage you can do with the Immortals, and here's the Gateway Explosion, by the way, the amount of damage you can do with Immortals in and out of warp prisms is insane.
Yeah, you can just keep them alive basically forever. They really earn their name in that regard. But he's going up to 3 Immortals here. There's a few different Immortal push styles. A lot of them use 2, but the 3 Immortal push, probably the most powerful one of all.
Yeah, if the Zerg is not quite ready, it hits really hard, especially when you got the good control with the warp prism. Did the Ling just see that?
I think he knows that this is an Immortal push completely.
Okay, so the push is now coming out here. Is Saxary going to be ready? Every angle on the map can be utilized for the Protoss or the Zerg, depending on the cornering of the engagement. This looks like a pretty good surround!
It certainly is, and where is that Warp Prism? It is nowhere to be seen. These Immortals are going to be picked up. One Immortal goes down. Oh my god, he just killed off all the sentries and the Immortals, and it looks like Saxary may be taking home Dreamhack Valencia.
The Warp Prism in the wrong position, the counterattack coming in the pylons, the gateway's being torn down. I think this is just too much, and MC may very well lose this game, and Saxary will be our champion.
MC is doing his best, hold on. He's going to have to throw up beautiful force fields. He has the Nexus Cannon going, but there are so many units up here. Even if this attack doesn't kill him now, Saxary has taken a gigantic lead, one that would be very hard to lose from.
This game starting perhaps how this series starting perhaps how it's going to end with the Forge once again going down. Here are the Lings now coming up, surrounding the Immortal. And I mean, the damage here is just huge.
Oh,
There's
man.
a lot of different ways that Zerg can follow this up, by the way. He can keep on making units and trying to attack the front here. He can go back, make more drones, expand again.
Well, during this, he definitely did make some more drones, made about 13. He's making another 10 or so, and continuing on with upgrades. You know, he's on 3 bases, super solid economy, holding on, but look at this. This is a great counterattack by MC, but no, the Roaches are already there.
If those Roaches had not been there, by the way, he could have gotten a force field on the ramp, possibly taken out the main, and this would have been another one of these seesaw games where both players taking so much damage, but neither one able to stabilize.
Well, it looks like MC has decided, when that doesn't work, what can you do? You were talking about it, Tasteless. It's very hard to follow up if it doesn't work. That was the epitome of not working. That was the ultimate failure on that attack. So he's going to try it again. He's making more Immortals. He's re-adding his gateways. But unfortunately for him, Hydralisks are on the way.
And the Spire has started too, Artosis. I don't blame MC for trying to rebuild the same army and attack in here again, because really, it's oh, hold on. He's actually going to attack up here. I wasn't expecting this. Saxary's got to be careful not to overextend here, because that army of MCs would beat the army that Saxary just sent up there. But it's much better for MC to try to remake this army and attack again than to, for instance, try to switch into a normal Protoss tech and take a 3rd base. By then, Zerg is way too ahead.
And that is for sure. Now, we do have a lot of Hydras popping out. The Roach is sitting at this watchtower. He has to run away, though. Don't want to lose any more units. This is still a very scary army from MC. Even though he lost a lot of units early on, he got to kill off quite a few units as well. So he still has a little bit of a chance at least.
Nice force fields there, MC. He's trying to recover in this game. Saxary doing some hit and run here, just trying to buy some time. He knows if he can shut down this army, he should win this game.
Well, he's running away now. He is on creep. This is where Zerg becomes a lot more powerful. All the units getting such a quickness upgrade, and it looks like MC gonna start pushing forward onto this creep Tasteless. This is it. This is going to be the final battle of this game.
He's baiting out a few force fields here and there, and look at this arc coming around!
A beautiful arc from Saxary. Hydralis absolutely everywhere, pummeling on these sentries, pummeling on these Immortals as well, but the force fields are simply amazing.
He has pushed the Protoss back here. The Zerg is now setting up the drones. Is MC actually going to manage to win with this attack here? All these workers being picked off here. He's been doing a good job microing the Immortals. There are 3 still with full HP. He might just out-finesse his opponent here with this micro.
You have to be joking me. How is MC doing this? How is MC pushing Saxory back, keeping these Immortals alive for so long? He still has sentries. He's still warping in more units. So many drones were just killed. Can MC actually finish the job?
Tough decision here. He decides to go to the bottom right instead of the center bottom here, taking out some queens. He can get this hatchery, but he'll have to keep pushing across from the bottom right to the bottom left, wiping out the rest of these Zerg expansions here. This hatch goes down. 3 bases remain.
This is an absolutely astounding comeback if MC ends up winning this tasteless. Saxory still has a big army. He's making a lot of Hydralisks once again.
Dude, it would actually be so ridiculous if he wins this after that first attack got surrounded and shut down. But it might just happen. Keep in mind, the force fields, it's a limited resource here. Saxory probably going to try to bait out a force field here or there, then attack and afterwards. But so far he hasn't done that. 2 bases remaining to a 2-base Protoss. MC's not stopping. He continues to push down across the map here. And once he gets to this second base, if the force fields aren't good, if the micro isn't perfect here from Saxory, MC will have turned this game around.
Well, Saxory's made the biggest concave he possibly can. He is spread in a gigantic arc. Will there be enough force fields? Can MC out-micro this flank? Let's see. It's going to be happening in just a matter of seconds. MC starting to push forward, but he really doesn't want to overcommit.
He remakes that army. Here come the drones, and it's actually hitting him really hard here. The surround is so good, but the force fields at the same time really keeping most of those roaches back. They're not quite doing enough damage, but he's now pushing forward here. No more force fields remaining. The Immortals in a vulnerable position.
And will Saxory kill up the army? It looks like yes, he will finally hold this second push of MC, this seemingly unstoppable push, and MC has no army left.
It's back to square one here. And I gotta say, what does MC make this army for the 3rd time and try to push out? Keep in mind, Saxory did lose 2 bases there.
Oh my God, the fact that this game is still going on and is seesawed this many times is simply unbelievable. Saxory has 25 drones only. Even though he killed that army, MC's not gonna leave this game. He's gonna sit behind this wall and he's gonna make as many units as possible. Now, if he can kill this army, he may still win.
Now he does shave off these gateways here, and he's gonna get these pylons, and there's really not a lot actually that MC can do about this. To move forward, he'd probably just get killed. And is Saxory going to keep going forward? This actually might be a little bit risky here, Artosis. I mean, there's an Immortal well placed there. The arc here is actually quite good for the Protoss, but you know what? I think there's too much.
Oh my God, that is a lot of Hydras. MC pulling his probes now to try to help out. But you know what? He has a lot of Stalkers back here. The Immortals doing a lot of damage, but those Hydras dealing so much damage right now to the Immortals. He's starting to pick up more MC units. Is Saxory going to bring it?
Saxory has defeated the Boss Toss in the best of 5 to final game. He shut down the initial attack, and the follow-up was shut down as well. Give it up for Saxory, your champion!
Wow, what an incredible series. I need to talk about that game 5. MC went for an Immortal all-in. The first attack seemed like it failed. Then it just got so dangerous. How were you able to win this game, Saxory? 그 5번째 경기에서 이제 불면증 올인을 시도했는데 처음에는 좀 실패했다가 약간 어떻게 하다가 좀 엄청 어렵게 이겼잖아요. 그 경기에 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
히드라 그 사정거리 업그레이드를 한 줄 알았는데 실수를 안 해가지고 싸울 때 히드라가 때리지를 못하더라고요. 그래가지고 싸우는데 갑자기 지길래 아 진짜 이거 진짜 지나 싶었는데 그래도 어떻게 처음에 너무 유리하게 시작해서 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
He says during that first fight, there was just a lot going on. At first, when the first push of the Mortal Lion failed, he came again, and it got dangerous because as we were fighting, I realized I thought I was upgrading my Hydra's range, but I realized I didn't, and that's why the fight went horribly for me. And at that moment, I thought, wow, am I really letting this game go like this? But somehow I feel like because of my advantage early on in the game, that's why I was able to win. Now, Saxry, the emotion that you were feeling, it was evident on your face. You seemed so happy. I can't even imagine what's going on in your head right now. Please try to put that into words. 이제 이기는 순간에 정말 행복해 보였는데 이제 첫 우승한 경험이고 지금 머릿속에 무슨 생각이 나는지 그걸 좀 설명해 주세요.
그냥 너무 좋고 빨리 가족들한테 얘기하고 싶어요. 빨리.
He says, it feels absolutely amazing. All I want to do right now is let my family know right away that I won Dreamhack Open Valencia. Now, Saxry, here at Dreamhack, we have a tradition of champions going up against one final opponent that always seems to stump them. It is the champagne bottle opening ceremony. We've had our previous winner at Dreamhack Open, Tasia, try 4 times and still fail. How do you feel about going up against this champagne bottle? 이제 드림하크 오픈에서 이제 우승자가 이제 이기고 난 다음에 샴페인을 뿌리는 세레모니가 있잖아요. 근데 하지만 선수들이 항상 실패를 했어요. 윤영서 선수 4번이나 실패하고. 근데 잘할 수 있을까요?
샴페인 병을 한 번도 만져본 적이 없어요. 그래서 방법을 좀 알려주면 한번 터뜨려 보겠습니다.
He says, I'm really sorry, I've never touched a champagne bottle before, but if you guys let me know how to do it, I'll try my best. Guys, it is time to start the prize ceremony for our champion. In control, take it away.
All right, thanks, Smix. I like hearing that. Maybe beginner's luck will be the difference that we need, right? I don't think so. He's probably going to get beat pretty hard by the champagne bottle. Ladies and gents, we couldn't do it without our sponsors, so let's get them on the stage to kick off this award ceremony. First up from HyperX, it's Christian. And from Razer, we have Romaine. And last but not least, from Blizzard, we have Burned. And of course, special love to Monster and Izo as well. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and put our hands together for one of the 5,000 times we're gonna do it tonight as we welcome in our second place finisher, a champion, a president. In second place, we have Boss Toss, MC. And there's that giant check. MC, everybody. And last but not least, we have one final mortal to take on the champagne bottle. It is your Dreamhack Open Valencia champion, My Insanity Saxry. Taking home $10,000. 10,000 big ones. Yeah. And of course, the gorgeous star of Dreamhack. And we'll see both these guys at Dreamhack winner. But first, the moment you've all been waiting for, and certainly this young man has his entire life. Hand him that bottle of alcohol, please, as we begin to see just what kind of a man you are. All right. Okay, Smix, take it away. I'm gonna help this man debottle this.
All right, in control, it is up to you. Will you teach Saxry the ways? Come on, Saxry, you can do this! The moment of truth. Thank you, all of you in Valencia, Spain, that came to cheer this late for the grand finals. Thank you to everybody on Twitch and Swedish TV. We will be back at Dreamhack Open Moscow on September 14th to 15th. So till then, congratulations again to our Dreamhack Open Valencia winner, Saxry. Have a good night.